32 new introductions, which is a lot for us. So 35 new products in Ibu with 7 new categories. In Peace and Love, we have 27 new products with 2 new formats, and a couple of nice new things that we're introducing. But before I start with the product, I wanted to just let you know a couple of things. One is that I really love hearing from you guys. It's twice a year I get to have all you guys assembled in one place. And it's really helpful to me as I'm working on my next line, which I am right now, to hear what you guys like and hear your opinions. And sometimes people are kind of shy or they don't say stuff at the end. And I was just going to ask if you could possibly maybe take little mental notes or even written notes on just a few things that speak to you that you think might be interesting, and then maybe share them at the end. I'm going to leave a little time. And if nobody says anything, then Alex may call on you randomly, just to let you know.
Yeah, I also wrote that in the comments. So we want to hear from you.
We want to hear from you. It really is the only time. I mean, sometimes I see you guys at shows, sometimes I don't, but so it's really important to me because it gives me the energy to start working on my next group of product. And I want it to fit. I want your guys' feedback because that's the most important feedback we get. So then I also want to apologize because I don't follow a PowerPoint. I'm actually holding these things up, and sometimes when I hold these things up, it's kind of awkward. So please bear with me as I struggle to hold these things straight and show them to you. So the first thing that I'm going to talk about is this new initiative that we came up with this season, which was to sort of profile small makers, small artists that have very uncommercial looks. Because we feel that part of Ibu, the way we differentiate ourselves from a lot of our competitors, is that we still have that homey handmade look that other people don't have. So I'm going to start with a really great Japanese artist named Yumi Kitagishi, and we had her do a number of products. I'm not going to show you all of her stuff all at once, but I'll introduce you to a few things now. One is a new assortment of pencils with her really cute little art, and in these really cute little brick displays, and it's got her bio on the back. But I'll also point out with this display, which we call a brick, you probably all know, we call these bricks because this header pops out, and when you buy it, it comes in a brick. When the retailer gets it, it looks like this, and then they just easily pick it up and they put it back in, and it makes this nice display. But I wanted to point out that we have rejiggered our displays so that they're a lot sturdier and the items don't flop forward. So this is the Yumi Kitagishi pencils. And then to go with the pencils, we did a little set of sketchbooks. Which are really, really sweet. And, the paper that we use for our children's sketchbooks is always really good paper. And it's not thin, it's very thick. It has nice texture. These displays are lovely on a counter. And the last in the series that I'm going to show you for now are these little tiny card decks that are really miniature. So I'll show you here. I'll show it next to my nose so you can see how small it is. It's very little. And the cards themselves, so this is the display, it comes in a little brick, bio and everything like this. And the little decks are like this. And they're a full deck of regular cards that come with our signature face cards, which have people with different skin tones, which is sort of nice and is our own thing. And they're on nice textured paper, durable textured FSC certified paper, come in this little box. And then you buy the whole little assortment like this, 6 different styles. And we've just had a really, really strong reaction to this whole set, this whole little gang of things. And I love them. Next, one more thing in the Yumi series. So this is one more of the categories. Sorry, this display is a little bit collapsing as I'm holding it, but they're little journals. Again, they're in this nice assortment pack, and the journals are like this. And I don't know if you can see, but they're sewn. Instead of being stapled or glued, they have a little stitch, which is really cute and nice. Inside, they all have different end papers and back papers, and inside it's a little dot. There's a dot pattern and a line. in a nice, nice sized lines. So these little guys are all really great pickup items. Stocking stuffers, things to stick in bags for kids for their first day of school. They're just really nice, very inexpensive, totally original, fresh looking artwork. Yumi Kitagishi. So that's that. Oh, then we have for Yumi, we have a new set of pencils, of our jumbo double-sided pencils. Our pencils, if any of you haven't actually tried these pencils and you need one to try, you'll see that they go on really, really rich and slightly oily, not like yicky oily, but nice oily. They're not dry or cracky. They cover paper very, very solidly. So you get, in this particular set, you get 6 metallic colors that are really shiny and nice, and 6 metallic colors that are also really nice. So this is a little Yumi pencil set. And with that comes, to pair with that, you can also get a 6x6 sketchbook. And these sketchbooks, as Amy said, have been doing very well. Again, the paper is really nice and thick, and it's not dumbed down for children with crappy paper. It's really strong, nice, good paper. And this is the Yumi, I think it's called Party, birthday party or Sweet Celebrations, it's called. Sorry, that's the set. Then we have an addition to last year's maker, who was Claire Westwood, did those lovely little fantastic journals with the locks. We did a set of pencils with her, and it's got 6 metallics and 6 fluorescents. And we've got, this one's called King Fox, and this is a little 6x6 notebook that goes with it. So this is a nice little thing to merchandise with those little journals if a customer already has those little journals. And the 6x6 journals also can be hung. Then we have a new maker that I really like and I think is very charming, but definitely not what you usually see. Her name is Cat Rabbit, and she's an Australian fiber artist, and she makes these funny little characters out of felt, and she calls herself Cat Rabbit. And again, the display is really pretty, beautiful colors, and you get 6 different styles of journals in this assortment, and you get 6 of each journal. So this is a little cat. And again, they have a really cute little back. They each have their own little end paper. They're just a nice little size. They have a really nice, soft, silky, matte finish that I think is nice. Not usually what we do, but we're doing it for all this little maker series. And that's really, it has just a very different look, kind of, I don't know, like a homier look. It's very nice. So that's those guys. That's Cat Rabbit. And then also with Cat Rabbit, we did a 20-piece puzzle. And we did and this is the size of our 20-piece puzzle. If you guys don't know, this box is 5x7, which is not a big box and might imply that it's not really a big puzzle. But in fact, it is a really nice big puzzle with nice shiny paper and always a different pattern on the back. So if you have more than one of our puzzles, you can always separate them out. And also putting this coating on the back means that the pieces are extra durable. They're already on very thick recycled cardboard, always on 90% recycled cardboard. They're always printed with vegetable-based inks. But this extra coating that we put on the back gives the pieces extra durability for kids. So that's the Cat Rabbit. And then also with this puzzle and every other puzzle we make, we are now using a compostable, biodegradable, non-plastic inner bag. So we've reduced completely the plastic on these products. That is that. So that's the end of the maker series for now. And the next product is a line extension onto the Alphabet Simple Words puzzle pairs that we updated last year that have done very well. They come in a hexagonal box. This is the next one. This is rhyming words, puzzle pairs. Rhyming words are fun to learn for children. It's a fun thing. And when you learn how to rhyme stuff, I don't know, it's just kind of a cool concept to learn. They're in extra thick boxes. This is actually a very thick box. So that there's, they fit very well and nicely into this box. And the pieces themselves are extremely durable on these as all of our pieces always are, and they're always very cleanly cut, and they always fit together very, very nicely. And what's nice about these hexagonal ones, I think is nice, is that when you're building them and talking about them and down on the floor working on them with your kids, or if they're doing it by themselves, when they're finished, they can kind of fit these guys together and almost make a pattern of them. And it's a nice additional activity that kind of reinforces some of the concepts that they're learning. So this is Fox and Box and Rake and Cake. And this very fresh artwork is done by a really nice artist who lives in St. Louis named Sarah Walsh. And she's very fresh and very new. And I really like her. And I think she's a nice mix into some of our more traditional illustrators. There we go. Plane and Train. So these are a lot of them. So Sarah Walsh, who I love and who I think is adding a whole new level of kind of fresh, bright colors to our line, did this nice new format for us called Picture Blocks. And this is a very old-fashioned concept. There are 9 blocks, recycled cardboard wrapped in FSC paper, printed with vegetable-based inks, and on each side is printed a different image, so you can move them around and make 9 different images with them. And here are the images: a tiger, a whale, a sun, a snail, a dinosaur, and a ladybug. But ours are, you know, it's going to be impossible for me to get out of this box, and they're going to fall all over the place. But can you help me? My assistant. All right, well, that didn't work. But in any case, the blocks are nice and big, and every image is very, very bright. And I think it's just really, I think it's a fun thing to put together, and it's good for anyone who likes dinosaurs or bugs or pretty colors of the sun. And it comes with a little insert, so kids can follow these as they're building the picture. And each one of them has a nice little different color border. So every piece that you get will have a border, so that they're all different kinds of clues that you can use to get the right pieces together in the right places. So that is the lovely new Picture Blocks by Sarah Walsh. Then we have the color game that you saw because TG took it for a holiday thing. I think it's really nice. I love color, and I really think it's important for kids to understand color because it helps them. Vocabulary of color helps them be able to tell a better story because they can describe things better. It makes them better listeners of stories and better readers because they understand these words when people are telling them. And the first thing that you have to learn about color is the basic spectrum of the rainbow. So this is a very simple game. It's a puzzle game. It's got a spinner in the center. Spinner in the center looks like this, and it's got nice details, like the spinner is foiled. It's got this nice kind of holographic silver foil. And then there are the pieces look like this. This is 3 pieces. So it's purple, green, blue, orange, yellow, red, obviously. And what you're doing is you're spinning this to pick a color, and then you're accumulating all the pieces that are yellow. If you get the yellow piece, then you have to get all the yellow pieces. But in playing this game, you start to learn, if you're a little kid, that yellow isn't just yellow, like the yellow crayon. Yellow is also a yellow that leans towards green because it's next to the spectrum, and green is the next color. So it tells you about orange, yellow, yellow, green, yellow, and kids really will learn the concept of how the spectrum works together. And it makes a really beautiful, in the end, after it's done, it does make this really beautiful puzzle. And in addition to this wonderful foil that we have on here, we also have the spot varnish on the little colored images. So overall, this is also very big. I don't know if you can see how big it is. It's quite a big thing. And kids can do it by themselves. You can play it as a game by yourself. You play with a friend or 2 friends or 3 friends or whatever, and you do it sort of collaboratively, but it makes this wonderful final thing. And it's very fancy and it's very pretty. Next, we have a revisit to one of our most successful and most recognized games, which is Line in My Way, which looks like a very So it is a very simple, basic game, but it's got an Oppenheim Platinum Award, which is a very nice award to get. And it's a really, really great game, and it's been recognized by other people. It has great reviews. And the concept of this game is, if you haven't played it, is you get a bunch of path cards, starting with this one that looks like a house, or it is a house, picture of a house. So you lay the picture of the house down, and then you have a whole huge pile of these cards that have just things on them. These are pipe cleaners, boots, a bird, an ice cream sundae, and everybody gets dealt out some of these random objects. And person pulls one of these path cards out like this. And let's say the path is a little guy in a spaceship, and he's in the road, and you're trying to get home. So what do you do with this guy, and what do you have in your hand? Well, you might entice him to fly a kite with you and land his vessel and fly the kite, or ask, say, what would it look like if you were to go up in the air in your little machine and you had this kite with you? How nice would that be? And as he's like sort of having fun with the kite, you go down the road. Or maybe you take the seesaw and you get somebody that you know to come and bounce on one side and kind of get you over. So it's or maybe you've got a clock and you tell him that he's late to dinner and that his mother is calling him and he's got to go home for dinner, and he leaves. So you can make up anything you want. It's a game of infinite creative solutions. And I think that is a great and wonderful gift to give to your kid, is to allow them to use their imagination to come up with solutions and problem solve. Because every kid has to learn how to problem solve and put it into a context in which it's fun and there's no stress and there's no consequence, and you can applaud each other's ideas and you can add to people's ideas. It's just a great game, all around great game. Anyone that plays it really likes it. I really recommend it. And now it goes really nicely on your shelf with all the other wonderful shape games. So that's lying in my, I can't say enough about that game. Then we have a new memory game. As all of you know, memory games are kind of our bread and butter. We introduce 1 or 2 a year of this large size. They always kind of do nicely. They're really well considered. They always have an educational element to them. They are 90% recycled materials, but they're always in FSC paper, and they are always special in some way. And this one, I think, is just particularly special. Space is something that's very, very interesting to a lot of people. It's very beautiful. And this is just a refresh on a very classic concept. So this has this holographic foil. It's got a whole bunch of interesting things on the back that you can learn about. There's a black hole, there are the planets, there's spacecraft, there's satellites, nebula, and the pieces are beautiful. Our pieces are always extremely, extremely sturdy. We always, every review we ever get is that our pieces are indestructible. That's what these are. They're foiled, they're beautiful. That's the space. That's the TGTG Christmas or fall selection, but I know that it's going to do well because everybody loves them. This is a little mini game. This is a little memory game. We have a little candy one. We have another couple little ones. And these are just really nice little pickup items for a store that's just, maybe a gift store that just wants something to pick up, or a science section of a store. So this is gemstones. I was the kind of kid that really loved gemstones, and even just looking at pictures of gemstones. So these little guys comes with a nice little guide that tells you it's translated into 4 different languages, so you can sell it anywhere. And it's all different little gems, and you lay them upside down, and it's just a classic matching game, but you'll learn all your little gems if you play this. So it's very simple, 18 pairs, very bright, very pretty, very inexpensive, and a great pickup item. Then I have this series, also one of them, the memory game, was picked up by TJTG. This is called the Busy Woods series. So Busy Woods, all of the 3 in this collection, there's a memory game, there's a bingo, and there's a domino game. They all have art that's basically deciduous forest creatures, bears and bluebirds and mushrooms and things that live in forests. The memory game and all of them have obviously recycled, little tiny, little smaller pieces. This is a smaller, less expensive item. It's smaller than the space one by quite a bit, but not, it's kind of a middle size between the little pickup one and the big one. They're little like this. Our pieces always have beautiful patterns on the back. That's something that also distinguishes our stuff from other people, is that we pay attention to every little tiny design detail, and we really think about it and worry about it and work on it. And I think like these little guys, I'm a good distance to see them, but even like the pattern that goes around each piece is lovely. So I really like these. I think they're very sweet. They seem kind of old fashioned in a nice way. And again, there's a lot of stuff you can identify and talk about if you're playing with a kid. So that's the memory game, but much the same to be said about the bingo game, which has 6 boards, 6 bingo boards. Each one has got a different beautiful back pattern and color. And these are just different animals, sort of, each one has a different selection of bugs and mammals and fungi and different things that you might find in a forest. And then you get a zillion of these little chips, and you put them in the box, and you put your hand in the box and you lift it up and you say, ah, I got the bunny. And if I have the pink board or the red pink board, I say, ah, I've got the pink bunny, and then you put the bunny there. And when you fill up your card, you win the game. It's just a very simple game of like lotto or bingo. But again, exceedingly, even though they're these little tiny pieces, they are unbendable, really strong. And then last but not least, we have a new domino set, and in the same design motif. And these dominoes are smaller than our giant dominoes. Obviously, these are kind of our little petite dominoes. And again, they're just a different design on the back, and they're just very pretty. And this is a great game for intergenerational play. We hear a lot that grandparents like to play dominoes with their kids. It's a matching game, but it's also a thinking game. It's also nice to watch the patterns work out. It's very simple. You can play with a very young kid. Very nice. So that's dominoes. Then we just have a little floater in here, which is a new diary. It's a rainforest diary to add to our selection of locked journals. This is, every year we try to introduce one. We're right now trying to clear out a bunch of old styles and add in a few new fresh ones. So this is a nice one. I think it's genderless. It's not going to scream one way or the other. It's got this beautiful green foil. It's got a nice poem in the back, adopt the pace of nature. Her secret is patience, which is an Emerson quote. We always do a nice end paper, nice lined paper. Just a nice selection to that diary thing. Not that many people are doing them anymore, and I think we're doing them in a really interesting and thoughtful way. So that's these. Then this is a big thing. This is a big introduction, and everyone's very excited about them because they merchandise directly with our Learn to Draws. So these are coloring books. They're pull-out coloring books. I'm going to show them to you first before I try to open one, because they're a little hard to display in front of a screen. But we have a Fairies and Tales one, which really is meant to bridge themes between the magical creatures that we did a lot of last year and fairy tales, which we did for this coming season that I will show you. And this one kind of fits both. It's got a unicorn and it's got a dragon. Then we did wild animals and wild things, and we did dinosaurs. So these can be cross-merchandised with the Learn to Draw books or anything else that we have, like the mini murals. So this is what these guys are. They are a mural that folds out, and I've taken the liberty of pulling this out because I got tangled up trying to show it last time, but this is how big this coloring mural is. But when I was little, my parents didn't like me to do just coloring books because they thought it didn't have show a lot. It doesn't use your imagination. So I appreciate that. And so what we did on the back is we did just the line drawing of not the creatures, but just the scene. So kids can color this, but in addition to this, they can either draw in their own animals, or they can use these amazing stickers that come with this set, this big fold out set of large stickers. So kids can take these stickers and they can place them on that other side of this mural. And then they can color in or draw in any other creatures that they want. So I think there's a lot of value and a lot of play value in this little set. Very inexpensive, a nice pickup thing. I mean, you can't really do it on an airplane, but you could do like a section at a time. But you could really take it someplace. You can use it on a rainy day. You could, tear it out of the book, lay it down. You can have 6 kids working on them at the same time. So that's super nice. And that's the coloring books. And I hope you like these because we're excited about them. So cross merchandising with all of that, we have our stickers. We did these sticker books. And for any of you that are not familiar with these are not just like little packets of stickers. This is like a mighty container of stickers. There are over 200 stickers that have this nice shiny foil on them. And I will show you, there's something a little bit different about ours. Well, first of all, you can peg them, so they're good to display. But I thought it would be fun if you had very little ones, because sometimes kids need little stickers or like little stickers. And then there are medium-sized ones for when you need medium-sized ones. And then sometimes you want just a really, really big sticker. So there are a couple of pages of really, really big stickers. So inside of each package, you get 200 stickers, some of them small, some of them medium, and some of them large. And this one will go with all our magical creatures or fairy tale stuff. And this one will go with all our shark stuff, because we have a whole bunch of shark stuff. And this is really nice. These are nice because they also, on their inside flap, identify what all the different sharks are as our little educational component. So this is what the giant shark stickers look like. And this is what the mini shark stickers look like. So there's a lot in here. You get a lot for your money on these guys. And then we did one introduction for our holiday line. I've kind of mixed up our holiday stuff into our regular things to keep it in the format. But these are holiday stickers, and it has a beautiful, it's hard to see on the camera how nice the foil looks on these guys. But they are really sweet and nice stickers, holiday stickers to put on packages or Christmas notes or your notebook or anything you want. These are the Holiday in the Woods stickers. So 3 new sticker books for this season. So then in the theme of fairy tales or fairies and tales, we had to call each one of these things something different so they wouldn't get confusing, but we were kind of running out of possibilities. Our Create a Story cards, if any of you guys don't know, we've had these for a long time, like maybe 20 plus years. And what they are is a deck of cards, 36 images, loosely based on a narrative with a bunch of recurring characters. And they're on very thick recycled paper, FSC certified paper. And what kids do with them, or what parents can do with them, or caretakers, is they can let kids choose a couple of cards and tell them a story about those cards. So a kid could say, tell me a story, what's going on with this unicorn and this fairy looking into this basket and this frog with a butterfly net. And then it's incumbent upon the adult to try to make up a story with those elements, which may be a huge help to them when they're very tired. Or a parent could give them to a kid to try to get the kid to engage in telling a story, or school teacher could use them and give a card to every kid in a classroom and say, each person has to sequentially tell that part of the story as it evolves. There are lots of ways of using these cards. They've been unbelievably successful. We have sold hundreds of thousands of them. We haven't had a new one in a long time. This is our new one. This art is by Linda Bleck. She's really wonderful. Everything is very expressive, very simple. There's nothing scary in here. It's all basically good stories, but some of them are funny. And it's really good use of kids' imagination. So I recommend these. These are really nice. Fairies and Tales. Then along that same line, we have a nice 20-piece puzzle. Again, little box, but a nice big puzzle, very thick, extremely good quality puzzle. We have a giant 36-piece Fairies and Tales puzzle, which has a ton of detail. And in every piece that you have in your hand, there's something going on, which I think is a really nice feature. So the puzzle is huge. I don't know if you can tell how big it is. I don't think it looks as big as it really is. But if you pick up any piece, you're going to get some interesting thing. These pieces are extra thick. This is definitely a giant puzzle. And so that's Linda Bleck, and this Fairies and Tales and part of the series. that's a new format. That's a giant 36-piece puzzle. So we didn't have that before. We had a giant 48-piece puzzle. These are giant 36-piece puzzles for a slightly younger group, like maybe 5 and under. And we did this giant alphabet puzzle in that same 36-piece format. And this one is by Sarah Walsh, who is that nice lady from St. Louis. And this is what this looks like completely done. It's really fun and it's nice and it's something that you can sit down on the floor and do with the kid. And as they're putting it together, you can point out what the words are, maybe how to spell those words. As always, the backs of our puzzles always have really nice patterns. And this is Sarah Walsh's alphabet 36-piece puzzle. And then I think this is the final thing for the fairy tales. Again, we've redesigned this assortment of mini puzzles. These are mini puzzles. They come in these little boxes. Sort of like this. So they're very, very small. But the puzzle isn't small. The puzzle is nice and big. And you can buy 4 different ones. They come separately. And they all have different backs in case they get mixed up. And again, these are 90% recycled paper and they're on very, very stiff board. So even though they're little and they're very inexpensive, there's nothing inexpensive or cheap about the way we've made these guys. So I think customers will definitely appreciate that they're getting a great deal when they buy one of these puzzles. And our new display enables you to really see all the titles in a way that's easier than the last display. Then I have one more no, I have a few more 20-piece puzzles. I have a holiday called Little Tree Puzzle by Bex Perkins. She's an English artist. A nice, big, nice holiday puzzle, which will be on the pre-order forms if you take a look at those. We have a wonderful bat puzzle that glows in the dark. That is nice and big and identifies all the different bats, and it glows in the dark and it's super cool. And I think people will love this for the autumn holiday season, since autumn is now a holiday in and of itself. And we did a little bats memory game for aficionados of bats. And coming very close to the end here, we have a 100-piece Love of Nocturnal Animals. Our Love of series does very well. We have love of bees, love of bats, love of sharks, love of bugs. These are all things that people either fear or think are yucky in some way or don't like to deal with, but are actually creatures that are very important to our environment. And when we can judge the health of our own environments by the health of those species. And I think it's very important for young kids to know these animals and to love them, because even though they kind of have a bad reputation, they're very important and they actually are much more lovable than people give them credit for. This one is Love of Nocturnal Animals. So a lot of these guys are scavengers and not always so appreciated. But this is a beautiful puzzle by German artist Ute Krugman, and it glows in the dark, and it really glows in the dark, like it like very, very brightly lights up a room. All of our 100-piece puzzles are ginormous. They make a huge puzzle, and they also include a poster and identifies all the different creatures. So this is a super fun puzzle. I think it's also really beautiful, and it's super fun to turn off the light and see what it looks like. So that's Ebu. Sorry if I'm running a little bit late, but okay, now I'm going to Peace and Love. Peace and Love. It's been hard to get through that puzzle thing, the puzzle shenanigans of the last few years, but I do think that we've gotten through it, and we do see them on every order now, and all kinds of stores order them, our toy stores, our bookstores, our flower shops, any kind of store. They're always in different proportions. The Peace and Love line is about 30% of our overall business, so it's still going pretty strong. What we heard from our reps and from our customers was they wanted to see more product from the artists that we were using, because they're very different artists. They definitely do adult stuff, not children's stuff. So we've tried. I'm going to go through the puzzles first and then show you some of the additions that we've done. The first round puzzle, I think the only round puzzle we did for this season, is Vanessa Bowman. She's kind of a folk arty English artist. And she did the Lavender Kitchen, which was very successful. And she did the Garden Harvest, which was also just came out and has done very nicely. She uses very bright colors, very solid shapes. This is a beautiful round puzzle for anyone that's has a little less time. Then we have a new introduction of a new format. These are octagonal puzzles, and they are by a woman named Hazel Jarvis, who is a wonderful older artist, lives in Connecticut. These are edible mushrooms. It says on it, don't use it for foraging, but these are edible mushrooms. And these are poisonous mushrooms. And they're both octagonal puzzles. So the shape is that, the pieces are the same, but the shape of the overall puzzle just means they have more edges, poisonous and edible. And I think they're really beautiful. Her style is just wonderful. She does everything by hand. There is not a single digital moment in any of these, which is kind of extraordinary these days. Then we have geometry. It's called, so this is called Sunshine Garden. And this is a young artist from RISD, just a few years out of RISD. And she does these beautiful compositions digitally, and then she paints them. Like with a little tiny brush and little tiny pots of paints, she paints these. And it's hard to see on just the box cover, but when you're doing the puzzle and you see the size, when you actually get it to scale, you can see that there are brush strokes in this. To me, it adds some level of complexity to the art that you don't even know that you're seeing. But Sarah Moore is the name of the artist, and she's really wonderful. And this is the first thing we've done with her. And it's called Sunshine Garden, which is her name for this. This is our kind of our home run hitter, Jennifer Orkin Lewis, whose every puzzle she does, people seem to absolutely love. She did the Paris in a Day. She did the Tree of Life, which are two of our most successful puzzles ever. This is a new one she did called Garden Party, and it's sort of taking what I sent her for reference for this was sort of fashion drawings from the 1920s. And she took her inspiration from those and also from Maxfield Parrish to make this beautiful, lush summer garden with women just hanging out, drinking wine. So that's lovely, and the colors are lovely. I think this is going to make a great puzzle. We've got Vintage Library, which is an English book collector who we worked with to pick out really wonderful, interesting, bright colored books that had beautiful spines. And we did a ton of color correcting and moving around, but we came up with this, which I think is an absolutely great sell to a bookstore, to any book lover. And I think the Venn diagram of book lovers and puzzle doers, there's a lot of overlap there. So I think this one should do really nicely. Also, I'm remiss not to point out this artist series artist playlist that we put on every one of our puzzles. So what we do in the process when we're making a puzzle, I usually think of an idea and I make a sketch and I contact an artist who I have in my mind, and they send me a sketch, and we go back and forth a couple of times. We come up with a final piece of art. When the art is done, we ask them, so what did you listen to while you were making your art? Or what do you listen to when you're in the studio? And we ask them to make a playlist, which is just the stuff that they like to listen to, which is really wonderful. There's another puzzle company that gives you nice music, like jazzy music to puzzle to, and that's also really, really nice. But this is specifically if you get a feel, so you get a feeling for the person that's done the art. When people are working on a puzzle, they feel very invested. It's almost like you're working on the art itself when you're doing a puzzle. And I think our customers really like to know, get that extra little bit of insight. So there's this QR code on the back that you can scan that will send you to a list of songs. And because our artists come from all over the world, there's all kinds of interesting music to learn about and discover. So I think that's really fun. We don't call it out enough. It's a super nice feature, and it's definitely a differentiating feature. Also, I'll take this time to say that this is a 10-inch by 10-inch box. Our old boxes were 11 by 11, and that extra inch not only saves material, which is great, and shipping and other stuff, and materials, but it also fits much better on the majority of our customers' shelves. So hopefully we'll get more face out time with this, since they're going to fit on more shelves than just the bottom shelf. So that's Vintage Library. We have Parliament of Owls, which is by Claire Westwood, who did the kind of strange and wonderful Cat in the Castle puzzle from last season. So you got all these different kinds of birds and owls, and then all kinds of funny business going on at the bottom. But I think it's a nice puzzle. It's an interesting puzzle to do. It's got lots of different shapes and things to discover. This is Naomi Devil. She's an Hungarian artist, and she does imaginary stuff, imaginary fruit, imaginary vegetables, imaginary birds. She did the Liberty Rainbow that we did few years ago. We haven't had it on the line for a while, but she's a very forward, interesting, contemporary young artist. And this is hers, and it is called Magical Fruits. This is Victoria Krylov. She's Russian. She's a New York Magazine cover artist. She is very fast and facile and bright and active. And this is a London market, an indoor London market, and it feels very hustly bustly. It's got lots of stuff, vegetables, breads, cheeses, fruits, characters. And people really, really love our travel puzzles, really, really do. So I'm hoping this was just gonna be great for them. We have another great series with the travel series, and we have another great series called, is this the right setup? Yes, called the English Cottage series by Victoria Ball, who is another English artist. And we started with her little cabin, then we did the blue kitchen, which was the kitchen in the cabin, then we did the English hedgerow, which is what you could see out the window of the kitchen. Then we've done the town that the little house is in, which is this beautiful beach town. We did a beautiful Christmas puzzle with people singing Christmas carols in the little town. And now we're back to the cabin again, to the cottage. And this is the greenhouse that you can see in the original English cottage. And there's always a little tiger in all of Victoria Ball's things. I always ask her to hide this little tiger someplace, which is, I think, is just a kind of nice little thing for an otherwise relatively serious puzzle. This is the English greenhouse. Then we have another series, which is our kitchen series, which has done exceedingly well. And it's really lovely when you see them all together. We have a yellow kitchen, a green kitchen, a blue kitchen, a pink kitchen. And this is the morning kitchen by Australian artist Flora Waycott. And she does beautiful ceramics and she does beautiful little fine things. But this is an extremely complicated composition for her because we always ask our illustrators to fill in every single spot because that makes a much better puzzling experience. What we do after we get the sketch is I take the die line of the puzzle pieces and I send it to the artist so that they can overlay it over their sketch. And if there's more than a couple pieces of the same color, I say, stick a cat in there, stick a lemon in there, stick a something in there, so that when someone is doing these puzzles, they're not confronted with a big area of one color that's a horrible drag and they have to go to bed feeling like a jerk because they didn't get to finish their puzzle. So that's Morning Kitchen. It's the colors are beautiful. It's really lovely. It's on the cover of our new catalog. Another travel puzzle. This is Stockholm, and it's got all this like nice, beautiful colored houses and the swans and the funny hats and nice Stockholm and the balloon and the towers and stuff. I think people seem to love these puzzles. So this is the very pretty one. And then finally, probably, I don't know, my favorite, that seems mean to say, but one of my favorite series is this alchemist that we invented with also a Russian artist named Vasilisa Romanov. And she did this alchemist cabinet. And then from the cabinet, you went in, there was a little woman and a portrait, and I went in and I said, let's make that woman the hero of the next one, which was a house. And in that house, which you could cross-section, you could see all the rooms, there's the alchemist and all the different things that she's doing in her house, her laboratory, her living room, her friends, herself as a younger person, herself as an older person, modern stuff. It's just a like time warpy, wonderful place. Then we did her library. And now we are doing her garden. So this is the Alchemist Garden. And then we also have the Alchemist Masquerade. We have a whole bunch of other ones coming up, but this is the Alchemist Garden. And here you see lots of vegetables. It's a really fun puzzle to do. There's like ghosts in the background and all kinds of interesting details. So when you're doing this puzzle, it's almost like doing a little story. So that's it for Vasilisa. What we've done with Vasilisa's art, since people really love her, we introduced 3 beautiful journals. And our journals have a couple of really nice things about them, in addition to just having nice covers. They have these beautiful foiled edges. They have beautiful foiled spines. They have beautiful patterns that were made for the backs. They have beautiful end papers. And then they have nice lined on one side, dotted on the other, come with a belly band like this. And they're in a cello envelope and they're inexpensive and they merchandise really beautifully together. They'll certainly be beautiful for any autumn display, and they look wonderful with the alchemist stuff. To go with Vasilisa's alchemist journals, we did a beautiful box of autumnal cards, 2 sets of cards in this beautiful foiled, it looks pinker than it is. It's like a dark red pink. And our playing cards, I think, are very special. They have these beautiful foiled sides. They're very high quality cardstock. They're with our nice signature face cards. which we redrew ourselves. So it's a very nice gift, this little box. It's $20. It's a great gift for a hostess. It's great to give as a birthday present. It's great to give as yourself for the winter time because it's really nice to play cards. It's a nice, simple, away from screen, wholesome, old-fashioned activity. So that's that stuff. And then we did 2 journals to go with the beautiful Sarah Moore geometry. And they've got beautiful foils. One is green, it looks gold here, but one is gold and one is orange. And again, they have beautiful backs. And then we did a beautiful deck of Sarah Moore's cards with this beautiful peacock blue. And those cards have this beautiful blue and this beautiful pink spine. And they're very nice. And then we just did 2 other beautiful patterned journals that are just beautiful, that go with all of this stuff. And those have beautiful. For Christmas, I'm wrapping up. This is just a beautiful deck of Christmas cards by Asta Barrington, who's an English artist that we use quite a bit. It's got a beautiful gold edge. We've got a Christmas ornaments puzzle. We have the English cottage Christmas, which is inside the little English cottage. We have Bex Perkins' little tree. And we have Ute Krugman's beautiful Happy Holidays, very bright, very pretty. This was the selection for the Good Toy Group. And that is that.